Happy New Year, everybody. I'm so excited to be with our champions as we open the school year and welcome our class of 23 all the way down to the class of 35 who will be in our kindergarten. Mostly, I want to make sure that I can lend greetings and encourage everyone. There is so much support for you and your family at LA Unified. If you know someone who is struggling with a registration, with asking about protocols or anything, tell them to come close, ask their questions. We believe in our community and we know together we're going to make this a great year. Can't wait. Thank you to all of the champions in Local District Central. We're going to make it a great one. Back to you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia, and I would agree, it is going to be a great one. Thank you so much. And now it's my pleasure to introduce another one of our board members, a family, friend, and advocate for all children here in Local District Central, Ms. Tanya Ortiz-Franklin, representing Board District 7. The floor is yours, Ms. Franklin.
Thank you, and welcome families of Local District Central, home of the champions. We too believe that you are champions and your children as well. We are so excited to kick off the 22-23 school year because great things are in store for all of our kiddos from early education through adult school. I know there are lots of questions, lots of ideas, lots of information, so I'm here to join you and make sure that we are all on the same page about getting this school year off to a great start. Thanks for letting me hang out with you all and have a wonderful, wonderful school year.
Thank you, Board Member Ortiz-Franklin. It's a pleasure to see you. Now, it is with great pleasure that I welcome or introduce our instructional leader who is leading all things to ensure that your students have the absolute best education possible here in Local District Central by implementing LA Unified's strategic plan. Please welcome our superintendent, Mrs. Frances Baez. Mrs. Baez, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Spicer. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes, familias. My name is Frances Baez, Superintendent in Local District Central, the home of the champions. Happy to welcome you to the 2022-2023 school year. I want to be able to share the strategic plan that was adopted by the Board of Education in June. The strategic plan has been unveiled, and we're excited to lead the strategic plan that's based on our beliefs. So on the next slide, you will see what we have all agreed to be our beliefs. And I just want to remind us all that Superintendent Carvalho led a listening session, listening tour, and listening to the voices of our parents, community members, students, school staff, personnel, everyone across the board who gave us input and helped us create this strategic plan. And I thank our Board of Education for approving this plan, which we have embraced, and we're already moving forward in implementing the strategies or planning the strategies that we are going to implement for the year ahead. This slide here speaks about what we believe. And what we believe is that we lead with equity. We lead with equity and we unapologetically call out those things that we do not do well and that we are not supporting our students in. So any system that's not helping our students, we need to interrupt and ensure that our students get the best education. If something's not working, we need to call it out. This equity belief is where we've been for the past few years in Local District Central, when we have centered our work on ensuring that our students, our Black students and our Latinx, our English learners, our foster youth, our LGBTQ, our immigrant families and communities, historically underserved, those are the communities that have been at the center for Local District Central, and LA Unified is saying, yes, we're going to call it out, and this is the population we're going to be identifying as supporting. Collaboration is key. In collaboration, we are ensuring that your voices are heard. Our parents, our students, our principals, our teachers, our classified staff, your voices are important in establishing policies and programs that are going to benefit our students. And then lastly, the belief that we all hold to be true commonly as a unified district is excellence. We believe the communities we serve in LA Unified deserve the most exemplary education that prepare all students to achieve post-secondary excellence for our community to deliver schools and entire systems that meets the promise of all of the unique needs of our students. And so that is what we believe in. Given what we believe, our mission and why we exist is the following. We believe we exist because we are realizing excellence for all students by providing the unique, rigorous, and culturally relevant education that each and every student deserves. That is our mission. That is what we do every single day. That is why we exist. Now, where are we going? Where we're going is the vision. And so in this next slide, you will see what we're headed towards. This is our finish line. Los Angeles Unified will be the premier public school district by eliminating educational inequities to graduate all students ready for the world to thrive in college, career, and life. And if you tuned in to Superintendent Carvalho's beginning of the school address, you heard him speak about this through examples of what we are committing to, and you commonly heard the words and the phrases, ready for the world. We want our students to be ready for the world in making sure that they have the skills, the disposition, the relationships, and the tools that they need to succeed. And the way that we're going to get there is through our theory of action. This is what we will do every single day to make sure that we get to that finish line where students are college and career ready and ready for the world. First, we're going to listen to you, and we're going to ensure that we understand your needs, the students' needs, our school needs, to support teachers, leaders, and staff to deliver high quality education that it's informed by data. That means that we need to know where your students are. How is our student doing in reading? How is our students doing in math? How are they doing in social studies and in all the subject areas? How are they doing social emotionally? How do they feel about themselves? We need to meet our students where they are and support them and ensure that all of the resources that we have are aligned to the needs of the students, that we align our actions and our resources to address the needs of our students. This will then lead to all of LA Unified students graduating ready for the world to thrive in college, career, and life. Now, how are we going to measure this? We know that we have very big goals, and LA Unified being the second largest district in the nation and the only one that's self-governing with the Board of Education, we have big goals and big dreams and aspirations for your students and strategies to support those dreams to make them a reality. Our goal is that our 70% of our students will meet C or better a University of California or California State University A through G approved courses by June 2026. So wherever we are now, our goal is to get to 70% by 2026 using the data from 2022. In literacy or language arts and reading, it's 30 points closer to being at the standard mark. So if students are not at the standard mark, if they're not at grade level, we want to get them 30 points closer to that. So every year, every month, every day, we have a goal for our students to get closer to being at standard, at grade level, the grade level that they're learning. That is where we want them to be. We will get there by 2026. In math, that is numeracy, and in math, we're going to grow 40 points closer to meeting standards by 2026 for the grades 3 through 5 and 6 through 8. And in social emotional wellness, our goal is that 8% more of our students will demonstrate a growth mindset, self-efficacy, and self-management, will be aware about themselves, will understand how to call on people who can help them to address problems as they arise. If our students are not feeling well, if they're depressed, if they've got anxiety, we want them to have the tools within themselves to understand how to manage those emotions, but also to call upon people to help them as well. So we have a metrics for that. In the next slide, you'll see overall how this strategic plan is created. This is a document that's multiple pages, but you're going to see graphics like this one on different campuses. I'm already seeing pictures of this in our schools. It's like a little house. So our strategic plan is like built on our core beliefs. We believe in equity, we believe in excellence, we believe in collaboration. And there are pillars in our strategic plan. These are the things that you're going to commonly see and hear talked about on our schools and in our town halls, in our meetings with you, what we prioritize and the strategies that we're going to implement for us to get to those goals. And these are the pillars. This is what we have defined as the critical areas. And we, I mean you and I. It means our community of school administrators. It means our principals, our teachers, everyone who participated in the listening campaign said this is of utmost importance. And the utmost importance is academic excellence, is for our students to be able to reach those goals in language arts and in math, and joy and wellness being number 2, for students to feel safe, to feel happy, and that is students and teachers and all staff members, and for there to be engagement and collaboration with our parents. And in a few more minutes, you'll hear how we're going to do that here in this session and throughout the year. And ensuring that we have the operational systems in place to be effective and be able to support healthy and safe and happy schools. And always investing in our staff and ensuring that they have the training that they need to be champions for you, for our parents and for our students. Just this week, we had professional development for teachers. And for these past 3 days, we have been focusing on that, analyzing the data, analyzing where your students, where your children are in language arts and math, and personalizing the learning. And I'm so proud of all the teachers that came to our professional development to learn strategies to support the needs of our students, given this time of the pandemic where there's been interrupted learning. So you're going to already notice a difference when you get onto the campuses and visit classrooms and see the personalization that's taking place for our students. And then lastly, you're going to see that there are priorities. So if we're looking at academic excellence, this whole week, we've been really focusing on teachers providing our students high quality instruction and eliminating opportunity gaps. That means that there should not be a difference between the students that are white, Black, Latino, English learners, gifted, unhoused. There should not be a difference. All of our students should be at grade level. So our focus is to ensure that we have the tools, the strategies to provide that to you. An example of that, we're going to be providing tutoring to our students. We're going to be providing homework help starting August 15th. That is a way for us to interrupt any gap, anything that's making that is creating a gap between students who are at standards and those that are not. That's just an example of the kinds of things that we're going to be doing. But on this screen, you can go back. This screen, I'm going to just take a moment for our viewers to look at it. And then we'll share the link where you can actually download this document. And it's in multiple languages. It's in English and in Spanish and in multiple languages for you to read it and for us to really focus our energy and our resources in these particular items. And this is our strategic plan. I believe that there's someone putting the link in the chat or in a place where you can access the strategic plan. Please take a moment to read it. And it's going to take us a while to know it very well, but it's a plan that we're going to embrace and continue to implement. Now, in the past few years, what we have noticed is that given the challenges of this pandemic, there have been students who might not have stayed with us. There are students who had to work full time, students who have become so isolated that they don't want to come back to school. They've not gone to virtual academy. They've not gone to our schools. So important that you come back and enroll here. Enroll.lausd.net and come back. If you're 17 years old and feel that you've lost 2 years of learning, we will catch you up. We will make sure that you graduate with your college, with your high school diploma. And if you need to continue to work, provide you that flexibility to work, to support and help your families, because we know these circumstances are very challenging. And while you go through these challenges, we want to support you. Please come back to LAUSD. If you know somebody, a neighbor or anyone out in the community who has become so isolated that they don't want to come back to school, please let them know that we have supports ready for them so that they can come back. And with that said, now I'm going to turn it back. Now I'm going to introduce our administrators of instruction, Mr. Andre Spicer and Ms. Ansley Gutierrez, who will be sharing what our priorities are when it comes to instruction and what the areas that we want to learn more about. I see the screen and it looks like we're trying to open up the strategic plan. And that's an example of the Spanish version. And I know that in a moment, I think we've already put it in the chat so that you can see what that, where to access the document. But we're going to pull up the slides one more time so that we can focus our attention on what our priorities are for this year. And also,
let me go back to that.
Introduce you to some team members and provide you some very important updates on the safety protocols for returning to campus. Really important. So please stay with us throughout this entire town hall so that you can learn about the protocols we have in place. I wanted to first introduce the instructional piece here. So on the next slide, I want to introduce Mr. Andre Spicer and Ms. Susana Ansley Gutierrez, our administrators of instruction. I will let them continue with our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bias.
Thank you, Mrs. Bias. So for today, first of all, I want to say I'm also very excited for the first day of school. I cannot wait to see our families and students. To our school community, we wanted to share with you our instructional foci for the year in our local district central schools. This year, we will focus on writing across the curriculum, where we teach and give opportunities for students to practice defending an argument based on evidence from multiple courses in all of our content areas and across levels. Writing is such a crucial skill to have, not just in school and college and career, but in life. The second focus that we have is on real-world math application. Teaching real-life application, students are provided with a context for learning, and by using real-world problems, students can make connections to their everyday life. The third focus that we have is integrated English language development, which provides students learning English at all levels a way to access standards-based learning and continue to receive rigorous instruction while developing the English language. Fourth, we will focus on small group instruction, which is a way to personalize instruction and really target the needs of each child in all subject areas. And lastly, student-to-student discussion, which is essential to learning. This allows for students to explain their reasoning, exchange ideas, ask questions, and lead their learning, to name just a few. We are overjoyed to partner side by side with you and our teachers to make this year's learning experience amazing for all of our students. I want to thank you for all that you do. We are truly excited coming into this year and the learning that we're going to see in our classrooms. And I want to reintroduce to you my amazing counterpart, Mr. Spicer.
Thank you again, and welcome, 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 Ms. Gutierrez. And it's important to know, families, that your teachers, your students' teachers, will be trained, further trained, and to have professional development around this focus area. And that's what we'll be observing in our classrooms, because we know that this is going to ensure that our students are ready for the world. Now, I would like to reintroduce to you our superintendent, Mrs. Bias. Mrs. Bias.
Thank you. I also want to remind everybody about our community of schools structure that we currently have in place. So depending on what your school is, we are divided into 8 community of schools. So imagine satellites. Local District Central has satellites, hubs, offices away from our base, which is at Frank D. Lanterman School. That's the site, and that's our headquarters. We have 8 sites to be closer to you. So one of them is being downtown. The downtown community of schools is one of our community schools. Eagle Rock Highland Park, Glassell Park, Los Feliz, Historic Central Avenue, Koreatown Pico Union, MacArthur Park, Manual Arts Vermont Square, and South Los Angeles. Given that we have about 158 schools and we are spread out up to the northeast part of Los Angeles, all the way to South LA, we want to make sure that you have access to services and supports closest to your schools. In the following slide, you will see the leaders that are going to be leading your community of schools. We have Ana Escobedo leading the downtown community of schools, and she's new to our team. She comes from as her most recent role as associate superintendent. We have Dr. Jose Rodriguez leading the community of schools in the Glassell Park, Los Feliz community of schools. We have Dr. Chie Bian Kitayama leading the Koreatown Pico Union community of schools. We have Dr. Charles D. Smith leading the MacArthur Park community of schools. We have Mr. Rafael Valderas leading the Manual Arts Vermont Square community of schools. We have Ms. Rosa Trujillo, who is leading the South Los Angeles community of schools. We have Mr. Tony Cortez leading the Eagle Rock Highland Park community of schools, and Dr. Elizabeth Bernal leading the Historic Central Avenue community of schools. And they have opened up their cameras. They're saying hello to you. So depending on what device you're using, or if you're able to scroll down, you will be able to say hello to them. You will see them regularly in their town hall starting in October. You will see that these local district central town halls will be held about 3 times a year to ensure that you're getting the most recent information that you need. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Andre Spicer.
Thank you again, Mrs. Baez, and to all of our wonderful community of school administrators. Now, a lot of great information will be coming from our administrator of operations around LAUSD's fall 2022 reopening, Mr. Titus Campos. Please welcome Mr. Campos.
Thank you so much, Andre Spicer. It's a pleasure to be here with all of our guests and staff from Local District Central. I want to thank all the people behind the scenes, including our operations coordinators who will be assisting me in answering any questions that you might have. Let's move on to the next slide. And so today we want to share some information that might be different. You'll notice some differences in some protocols responding to COVID-19. So first of all, we're aligning our policy with students entering schools and also staff and any family members and community members who might be entering our schools. Masks are strongly recommended, but they're not required. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that, because that was different last year. So that's one of the changes that we have this year. Know that schools do have PPE, including masks. So if you need one, you can certainly find one at your child's school when you visit. Baseline testing. So last year, as you recall, up until the end of the semester and even at the beginning of summer school, we did have weekly testing for every student, so and staff members. So all of us weekly would get PCR tests. Now we're shifting and pivoting to antigen tests. So antigen tests schools will be receiving 2 shipments. One shipment already arrived, and principals and staff have been working hard to distribute 2 tests to every student. And that's one is to be taken 48 hours before school starts on Monday, the 15th. And only positive results need to be uploaded to the Daily Pass. And this is strongly encouraged. It is not a requirement, but it's strongly encouraged for all students and staff to take this antigen test 48 hours before school starts. Now, the second test in the box that you'll receive is just in case you do test positive, or a person would test positive. The second test would be taken 5 days after the positive results. And so that's a shift in the testing for this year. Schools will be receiving, they should have actually have received a second shipment to be distributed by the Friday of the first week of school, so that they could go home to families and have students test that first weekend that school starts before the second Monday of school. So those will be the two testing that will be distributed to students. And so the daily pass will no longer be used to generate a QR code and enter campus, the school site like we did last year. It still will be used, however, to upload any positive results from the antigen tests and also immunizations, but not for daily entrance to schools. Now there's a phone number. We're going to list it again in an upcoming slide, but there is a phone number here at the bottom. That's for the family health desk. So if you later on think of another question that we may not have addressed today, please take a camera, get your camera out, take a photo of this number. You can always call 213-443-1300 and ask any questions that you might have. That's for the family help desk. We'll move on to the next slide. And I'm going to introduce our wonderful lead operations coordinator, Michelle Gorsuch, who will walk us through the next few slides.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm so glad you were able to join us today. So my name is Michelle Gorsuch. I'm the lead operations coordinator for Local District Central. Some of you may recognize me from town halls last year. It's a pleasure to be here again. I just wanted to go over some of the other safety protocols that we've been doing all along that we're going to go ahead and we've updated or we're going to continue doing. So one of the things that we've been doing all along is at the end of every day, we go in and we disinfect all of the high touch surfaces. We do that actually twice a day, in midday and around the end of the day, so that when people come in the morning, everything is disinfected. We also, throughout the pandemic, updated all of our HVAC systems so that they're operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that will also help. We have a nightly deployment of the electrostatic disinfecting units to disinfect all areas. You can see that little icon there of a guy with a little sprayer. That's basically what they do. They spray the entire room so that the whole thing gets disinfected before anybody comes in the morning. We also have 1,750 portable high efficiency HEPA is the acronym, scrubber units for any affected space. So we're doing everything that we can do to make sure that all of our classrooms are nice and clean, they're disinfected, that the air is working properly. And all of these things will combine to help our students be safe. All right, let's take a look at the next slide, please. Okay, so the daily pass, we're going to continue to use the daily pass, but only to upload COVID-19 antigen tests when they come out positive. So if you have a positive result, you're going to want to upload that to the daily pass so that we know about it. Okay, this helps us work with the County Department of Education, or sorry, the Department of Health, to make sure that we don't have any, wide spread of the virus, continued spread of the virus. We will no longer ask families to come up with a daily pass QR code in order to enter the school campus. So that's good. One less thing you're going to need to get ready in the morning. As far as vaccination, all of our employees are already vaccinated. We also encourage students to be vaccinated. It's going to keep you safe out there. And it also, makes sure that we don't spread the virus any further. But it is not a requirement. So we also want you to make sure that you go and get your boosters when you're eligible, because it's going to make the situation much better. I, for example, was really good. I didn't get COVID for a long time. And then about 3 weeks ago, I ended up getting COVID. But because I had had all of my booster shots, it wasn't that bad. It was just kind of a really bad cold. So I highly suggest that you get vaccinated and get your boosters. Okay, meals. LA Unified is going to continue to maximize our use of outdoor spaces while we're serving meals. We will have additional information about how we're using the outdoor areas to keep our students safe. There will be times, for example, with inclement weather where we do need to go ahead and serve the food inside. We are going to be offering breakfast in the classroom again for students at the start of the school year. Now, in the event that students in the classroom are required to wear masks because, you know, they've been exposed, then we will find a different breakfast location arrangement. And again, this is all to try to make sure that we're all safe and that we, you know, don't spread the virus even further. All right, this slide shows that same information in Spanish. I will refrain from reading it to you because my Spanish pronunciation is probably not all that good. All right. Now, I also want you to know where you can get more information. If you have additional questions, you can go ahead and go to achieve.lausd.net/COVID. And again, we have our hotline for families number there at the bottom that we saw on the previous slide. Again, that number is 213-443-1300. So jot it down real quick, 213-443-1300. We are super excited to see your kids back at school, to see you back at school. And I think it's going to be a really great, exciting year. It's going to be a lot more positive, a lot more fun than, you know, what we've been through during the whole COVID pandemic. So, you know, things are looking up and we're all super excited to see you. Go ahead and go to the next slide. I'm going to pass this back over to our Administrator of Operations, Titus Campos. Thank you so much for your time and attention.
So I'm back to talk about meals for students. So please know that we have an agreement with the federal government to provide universal free meals to every student in LAUSD. So breakfast and lunch will be served to all students free of charge. However, it is still important for families, for parents and guardians to complete the household income form or the meal application, depending on what type of school you are. You can get one from the main office. They usually will send them home with your child. Please make sure to complete that because that will help get us data that we need to report to the federal government. But know that every child will be provided with a meal. Also, in the strategic plan that you heard our Superintendent Baez talk about, there is a section in there that addresses new meal options. So over the summer, there were students at one of our high schools, Cortina's High School, sampling different types of meal options. And so you'll see their favorites being included in as new meal options for this forthcoming year. So really excited about that. And it was really important to have student voice as part of that process in selecting new food choices. So with that, turn it over to our PACE administrator, I believe is up next, Mrs. Megan Guerrero.
Thank you, Mr. Campos. Hello. Thank you so much for being with us today. I want to give you this first important reminder. My name is Megan Guerrero. I am the new Parent and Community Engagement Administrator. The first day of school is Monday. Yes, this coming Monday, August 15th. And we wanted to make sure that everybody knows that we will be back waiting to welcome your children back to our campuses with open arms. There's so much excitement at the beginning of the school year, whether your child is starting kindergarten or whether they're starting their senior year, their last year in high school. The new school year always holds so much excitement and special hope and expectations. Check with your child's school for any schedule changes. Sometimes when they move grades, they might have a new recess or lunch schedule. You should be receiving all that information from your child's school so that you'll know what time they need to be there and all that important information about pickup and safety. I wanted to just announce a few things that are connected to the strategic plan that Ms. Baez introduced and shared that hopefully you have been hearing about. Pillar 3 particularly calls out to our collaboration and our engagement with our parents and with our communities, with you. And it gives us certain measures that we need to follow and ways that we can engage you more. Because when we work together, we see growth. There are many parent involvement opportunities at your child's schools. Parent family centers are ready to open up, some in person, many in a hybrid format. So there will be opportunities to be in person in your school, your child's school parent and family center, as well as opportunities on Zoom. So we know sometimes that's easier for our families to engage in this format when you can do that from home and maybe not have to travel if that becomes difficult. Volunteers do need to sign up every year through the volunteer app. We look forward to offering different opportunities for you to volunteer at your child's school. There are different qualifications. Please make sure that you check out what you need to do to qualify as a volunteer, and your child's school will work with you to let you know what you need to do to follow the requirements and be approved as a volunteer. I want to continue to encourage our families. Many families have connected their children to the parent portal. There's so much information, not just about the daily pass anymore, not just about requesting devices, but so much information about attendance and grades and reclassification that you can access in the parent portal. I also know that everyone has different needs at their child's school. I encourage you to reach out and contact them about before and after school programs that are offered. Beyond the Bell offers many options at our schools. There's the website that you can access. The first thing you'll see is information about before and after school programs. We want to support you and your family and your children at our schools beyond the regular instructional day, if those are the supports that you and your child need. Also reach out to your child's school for specific procedures they may have around health and safety and opportunities for parents. And your child's teacher and schedule, you don't always have to wait. Here's another important reason why, if you sign up for the parent portal, you can see that, start to see that information. So you don't have to wait. You can see the information in the parent portal for your child's schedule. And if you do have questions or there seems to be discrepancies, please call your child's school and they will be able to help you. Los Angeles Unified provides opportunities for parents through the Family Academy. I encourage you to check out the course offerings. I couldn't believe the different courses for the fall. There are courses to support your child in mathematics at all levels, elementary, middle school, high school. There's workshops about housing rights. So it's supporting, that's why it's called Family Academy, right? We want to support you, your child, your family. There's also, a workshop about how to be a resilient family. I think after what we've come through these past 2 years, we could all learn how we have been resilient and how we could be more resilient as our families move forward into this new era. And again, here at Local District Central, we will continue to customize workshops for you parents through our Tech Talks and more. We have 3 coming up in August. These will be Wednesdays at 3:30, the same Zoom link each week. We're going to start with the parent portal. So if you're like, okay, parent portal, I keep hearing this, but what about it? Or what can I do? Or how can I get in and do more? We will be offering a parent portal workshop next week on Wednesday. The following Wednesday, we want to get into Pillar 2, joy and wellness. When our kids feel joyful, safe, healthy, when we encourage wellness in ourselves and our children, we know that they will experience more success in school. So that will be August 24th, and then talking about opportunities for parent involvement on the 31st. We'll hope you'll join us for Tech Talks and more. They will be led by our parent coach educators and also different staff from Local District Central who are all here to support you. I just wanted to say that I'm looking forward to serving in my new role, working with you parents. Please reach out to us if you need any support. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Andre Spicer, who will introduce our next collaborator.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Guerrero. Thank you so much, our Parent and Community Engagement Administrator. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our Administrative Coordinator over all things special education for our students who happen to have an IEP, Miss Yolanda Bueno. Welcome, Yolanda.
Thank you, Andre, and it's wonderful to be here with our communities, with our school teams, with our parents. My name is Yolanda Bueno. I'm the admin coordinator for Special Ed in Local District Central. Next slide. And so I have some exciting news in special education, along with our colleagues, in general education, we are also tied to academic excellence and eliminating opportunity gaps. And so the Division of Special Education is working on increasing inclusion opportunities for students with disabilities. And our goal by 2026 is to have 80% of students with disabilities in general education for 80% or more of the time. And of course, IEP decisions will continue to be individualized. They will continue to serve students in their least restrictive environment, and providing extra consideration to bring in the supplementary aids and services to the students' least restrictive environment. And the first consideration would be in the general education setting. And so as of now, we have more than 40 school sites from elementary, middle, and secondary, and span schools who provide the majority of special education services in the general education setting. And so that is very exciting for our students because they are working and they are learning and they're building relationships alongside their general education peers. And so we are moving forward, and schools are developing inclusion plans to provide those services to students so that they are able to learn and make just the same, make the same or more progress in their least restrictive environment. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Our number is listed there, 213-766-7309. So thank you again, and we are excited to have you back. We're excited to have our students back, our teachers back, our classified staff. So welcome back from the special ed team here in Local District Central, and I'm turning it back over to Andre Spicer.
Thank you again, Ms. Bueno, and it's all of our responsibilities to care for all of our students with special needs. Thank you so much. At this time, I will invite Ms. Guerrero if there are any open questions that we need to address before we conclude our session. And our team behind the scenes have been answering questions in the Q&A all along, and I'd like to thank them, the team of operations coordinators, our PACE administrators, and our community engagement coordinators as well.
Yes, Dr. Spicer, I believe that questions are being addressed in the chat as well as in the Q&A. And our team is responding to each of those questions individually as their time. So I don't think there's anything we need to address live at this point. Ms. Fine?
Yeah, Ms. Guerrero, I want to ask you, when is the first day of school?
The first day of school is on Monday, August 15th. That's
Wonderful.
This coming Monday.
And Ms. Guerrero, can you tell me, will parent centers be open on the first day of school?
They absolutely will. Our schools are ready to receive our parents. That doesn't necessarily mean that there are classes and workshops on the first day, but there will be someone there ready to help our parents, invite them in, offer them help with the parent portal if they would like to sign up for that, offer opportunities to access technology, and help with questions that they may have about their students' school and schedule.
Wonderful. And are there any requirements for our parents in terms of safety protocols for them to enter into the parent center?
Well, if they are there for example, an hour or less, they would just need to make sure that they check in. Our visitors always need to check in our school offices. So please check in, visitors, as you come into our schools. And then you are welcome to come into the Parent Center. Again, masks are encouraged on our school campuses, and you could participate and visit the Parent Center, for an hour from time to time, not a problem.
Great, thank you. And what about for our parents that are trying to log in to get a parent portal account and they're having difficulty with their ID? How do they get an ID?
There are folks also in the chat. I saw some of our PACE team texting, letting them know their information. And so we can put that in the chat as well, so that they could reach out to our team as well as in their schools. The school has the majority of the information, the PINs and the student IDs, so that parents can create their parent portal account. And then schools will reach out to us as well if they need additional support or there's difficulty connecting parents and students in the parent portal.
So if there's difficulty getting a PIN for the parent portal, they can call their school to get that PIN.
That's correct.
Thank you so much, Ms. Guerrero.
And we're always here available to answer any questions from our families at Local District Central. And you'll see lots of very valuable information on our website. So please visit us at www.ldcentral.net, www.ldcentral.net, where we have up-to-date information, everything from academic achievement to parent involvement, and of course, operations. You can also follow us and tag us in all your social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, by following the handles you see there at LAUSD_LDC for Twitter. For Facebook, it's at LAUSD_LD Central. And for Instagram, it's at LAUSD_LDC. You can find us on YouTube, where we post videos as well. And with that, we want to thank you again for spending time with us tonight, this afternoon, getting this valuable information, collaborating with us, partnering with us so we can do the best for your children. And we're so pleased that you have entrusted your children to us to come back with us so they can learn in a safe, nurturing environment. We will see them Monday morning, and we're very happy to continue to serve. And at this time, I'll allow our superintendent, Mrs. Bias, if she had any final words for her families.
Thank you very much, Mr. Spicer. I want to thank our Local District Central champion team for putting this town hall together to provide information about our new strategic plan, safety protocols, our parent engagement opportunities, special education, and much more. Thank you, parents and families, for tuning in. We will repeat this session again at 6 o'clock. And as our families are entering questions in the Q&A, we are responding to them, and it looks like we have gotten to the last question. So at this point, it's safe to say that we are ready to conclude our town hall for this afternoon. We'll see you again at 6 o'clock. Please spread the word. If there's other family members that couldn't make it today at 2, we welcome them to join us at 6 o'clock today. Thank you.